So, can you recall your first battle ever?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Like we fuck around and battle each other, our friends, but not really. You know, like we didn't really know. I think it was this kid Curdy. And it was my friend Danny. Like he hung out in a town called like Syosset, which is like kind of a rich town and shit. We would hang out over there sometimes. And I think it was this kid Curdy. He was cool. He was a cool kid. Shout out to Curdy I think I'm friends with him on Facebook. I'm not sure. But Curdy, he used to have one fucking tooth. He had a fucked up half a tooth. He freestyled a little bit. He wasn't great, but he thought he was. So we're like chilling in somebody's basement or something, smoking weed and drinking and shit. And there's like girls around. And Curdy starts rapping, talking shit and battling me. And then I just went off and I murked him. Like murked him. Very personal, talking about his teeth and shit. And fucking, talking about the town he's from and how we can't fuck with Huntington Station. And at that point, I was like, I can battle. I'm nice. Like, I'm nice off the head now. Like, I can do it on the spot, pick someone apart. I'm clever. I had lines, like I was crushing them. And I was like, okay.
What age is this?
Probably 18, 19 years old,
Okay. And then how long after that till the situation at Wetlands?
That was probably, let me think, 1.5, 2 years tops.
Okay, so in between that time, you should start battling nonstop?
Here and there, like not really. I was still just trying to record. I battled like this crew of kids in a driveway in Brentwood. I forget what they were called. But like, it was like set up, they were talking shit. And then Levon was like, I'm going to bring my white boy. Because this was like when Eminem was popping as an underground rapper. This is like raucous Eminem times. And he's like, no, I'm going to bring my white boy,
He's the shooter.
And he did. And I murdered their whole crew. I murdered them. I destroyed these kids. Their jaws dropped. Like, holy shit. Because back then I was sharp off the head at this point. Like I was, you're freestyling all the time with your friends every day, every other day. I battled at some house parties.
You guys are battling on beats at this time or just a cappella?
Either or. If, sometimes somebody would break out a boombox, play it out of a car. A lot of times on beats, though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sometimes a cappella. Sometimes it would just, just go from there. But either way.
So you were working this regular job in the kitchen and you went to your friend Abe's place, right?
Deli. Oh, no, at that point, that's a little later. I was working at a deli when I was fucking with these kids. But no, I was working at this spot called Zone Perfect. You might remember. I don't know if they still exist, but they had Zone. They were like nutrition bars and shit you'd see at 7-Eleven and stuff. Mm-hmm. Zone Perfect. Well, that company used to do like meal prep where they would deliver, fresh meals for people, like people that could afford that type of shit, in like in a cold bag with ice packs and fucking, right. If you could afford that type of shit, they'd drop you a week of meals off. And then they'd come and pick up, the leftover shit and bring it back. And me and my boy Josh, Taboo, from fucking Double Negative. Yeah, if you've ever heard me mention Cole and Taboo and me worked at the spot Zone, refilling the fucking freezer with ice packs on these fucking trays. That was our job all day. And it was in a storefront. And the kitchen part where they did all the food prep and all that shit was in one big storefront. And then they had another little storefront with the freezer. And that's where we worked and fucked off most of the time. And it was a terrible job. Me and Tabs used to like spar. We put on boxing gloves and spar in there and shit. We broke the fucking plate glass window one day. We were sparring and fucking I tapped him in the jaw. Then he tapped me back and I tripped over a box. And I go like bang. Shoulders right through the fucking plate glass window. So we made up a bullshit story why we broke the fucking plate glass window. It was a ridiculous job. It was just one of those ridiculous jobs. This kid fucking Buddha worked there. Tab's friend Buddha worked there in the office. There was some hot chicks there. I'll never forget that. There was this pair of sisters that were hotties. That was fun. They were cool. But he ever banged them, but they were good to look at. But we were working one day. We went over to my man Abe's house, who actually hit me up right before this. to wish me the worst. He was actually at this point the only guy I knew that was on like AOL chat rooms and shit, you know, like using the computer like that. And fucking, this is probably, I think this is 99. This was like 1999 going into 2000, but 99, I want to say. We're at Abe's, and Abe had this like 1-bedroom house on the corner of this block. And we're chilling there, just smoking fucking blunts like we did. And Abe's playing on the fucking chats. And, you know, me and Tabs and Cole, we were like taking rapping more serious. I had a studio that we could work out of with DJ Dummy. And we're trying to get shit going at this point a little bit, see what we could do. And Abe's like, yo, you want to battle? I'm like, what? He's like, yo, you want to go into like an actual battle at the Wetlands? And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. And he's like, oh, this girl I'm talking to on AOL can get you into a battle at the Wetlands tonight. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. We drove into fucking New York City and that night and went to the Wetlands. And this girl can't do shit, can't get me into a battle. She knows nobody. She's waiting online like everybody else. So she was full of shit. And I'm like, fuck it. All right, I'm going to get myself into this battle. So I go up to the door, and who's at the door? It's Poison Pen. He was the host and through the event with this girl, Mahogany Brown, who I went on to meet, you know?
The Cypher battles, right?
Yeah. Decipher. That was it. Decipher. Hook.com presents Decipher. Fucking
shout out to Penn.
But these were like big events, man. You know, back then, underground, like a battle like that, you're talking about there'd be 300 fucking people there, 400 people. It's just packed the fuck out for a battle. And I had heard of Poison Pen from, you know, college radio, like WUSB, which is Stony Brook Radio, which was like one of the bigger, you know, independent college radio stations. You know, every Saturday and Sunday night they had like, or was it Saturday night? I want to say Saturday night from midnight to 6, basically. You had one show from 12 to 3, and then 3 to 6, you had another one. And that was a pretty big deal. So I'd heard him and Breeze Have a Flowin' up there. Breeze Have a Flowin' was at that battle. And, you know, in the mid-90s, when I was listening to Hot 97, like Mike Check show, Breeze was on there as an intern. And I, for a time, thought Breeze was the greatest rapper I'd ever heard. You know? So, like, I knew who these guys were and was like, holy shit, all right. So I went up to the door, Penn's there, and I'm like, yo, put me in this battle, I'll win. And he's like, you know, he like smirks. He's like, yeah, all right. Like he's never heard that before. I'm like, nah, for real, put me in. I'll murder everybody here. And fucking, he's like, what's your name? I'm like, Diabolic. And I didn't know, but he had heard my name from somebody. Because I knew Lou Cypher and Manifest. I knew from Long Island, from DJ Crossfader's studio. They were like younger kids, but they were involved. Like they were battling a little. They knew Penn from the battles. And Penn was always looking for people to do the battles because they needed to, you know, fill the X amount of slots to even throw a battle. So you had to have rappers. And Lou Cypher was like telling Penn, like, yo, I got to get my man Diabolic out here. He's like, I'm telling you, this kid is nice. He would kill people, da-da-da-da-da. But honestly, I wasn't aware that I could just go to the Wetlands and battle. I had heard of these things going on. I didn't know. I thought I needed to know somebody who knew somebody. I didn't know I could just walk up and get into a battle. It didn't even cross my mind. So Ben's like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll put you in. And I did the battle. I fucking murked everybody there. It was a great night. Like, it was a good time. That dude Shells from the HBO battle, that battled Idea, was there with his friends. They were in the front row. They were hating on me. But that shit didn't matter because I was nice.
Oh, that's right. You started using his name against the person you was battling, right?
I was talking mad shit about Shells and his friends. I started talking mad shit. Yeah, I don't remember what I said.
Your disadvantage though, because like the crowd like kind of like was against you.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah, I ended up losing in the final in like 3 overtimes. It was ridiculous to me.
You got robbed, right?
I missed this spits. I thought so, but maybe not. Who knows? It was good. It was like just a legendary night either way, even if I didn't. But in those Decipher battles, whoever made it to the finals went on to like the finals battle. you know, the next big battle with all the guys who made it to the final. So even if you didn't win that night, you were into the next, you know, big battle. You got an automatic into that.
Right.
And but that night, that's pretty much where I met everybody I know. Like as far as who I'm like close with to this day, the Immortal Techniques. I met him that night. You know, we become best friends, but I met him that night. That's where I met Penn, Breeze. I mean, Mahogany Brown. I'm still friends with when we talk. But I met a ton of people that night. Many Styles was there. I think Icon the Mike King was there that night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I met all these
Shout out to
people.
Mike. So, was that the most amount of people you ever battled in front of at that time?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Were you
I was
nervous at all?
shaking up. Fuck yes. Hell yeah. That first fucking round, I'll never forget that shit. I was bugging out. My legs were shaking. You couldn't tell, but like I'll never forget. Like I was so pumped up, full of adrenaline and shit. My left leg, I'm facing this kid, like, and my left leg, I could feel it. It's just convulsing beneath me. I'm like, whoa, shit. I don't know. This is a fucking, this is nerve wracking up here, right? I was wild. But I just did it. And then once I started seeing the crowd fuck with me and they started wilding, I snapped out of that shit real quick, you know, and just started going off, and it became a little more natural. And it was fun. So like I basically went from being nobody to having a little bit of a fucking underground name in like one night, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Because battles meant something back then. You know what I'm saying? You battled, you were nice. People heard about it.
Right. The word traveled fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Real fast. I met producers that night. I met fucking, you remember Milk? Milk is chilling. Gizmo's chilling. What more can I? He was a fucking working for Violator Management. I met him that night.
Wow.
He was interested in fucking bringing me up to Violator at that point when they were getting started.
That's crazy.
Just off one night, you know, you get seen and people fuck with you.
Mm-hmm.